Welcome back, guys. Welcome to Before the Whistle, powered by Phoenix Sports, where simulation meets reality. The group stage has reached its conclusions. Dreams are alive, expectations have changed, and after 3 matches, the World Cup is becoming clearer. But before that, we did simulate this match. This match is ahead of time. We need to try and see what the future has to hold. And we did that using EAFC 26 World Games experience to simulate this game exactly before the whistle was kicked for these games, to bring in simulations on what we thought will happen in this one. We also gave you our own analysis and data after these 3 games were simulated. But in this episode, we'll be looking back on those round 3 fixtures. We'll be looking at how the table in the simulation shaped up and how the table in this one in real life actually shaped up. We'll compare and contrast all the difference. What we still like to see here is if the game can predict it right. This isn't just football, this is Before the Whistle. And remember, life is a game. Press play. Welcome back, guys. I did tell you that I'll be diving into how those simulations kicked off in Matchday 3 versus the actual outcome, versus the actual results that actually happened at the World Cup. The expected outcome kicking off from Group A. Looking at this one, it had the prediction had it as 1-1 the scoreline, but it came out to be a victory in the World Cup fixture for this one. For that South African side, they're able to grind it out and win that match 1-0. In that same Group A, there was still that match between Czechia and Mexico. That one also predicted 1-1, but the Mexican side said, oh no, it was Taco Tuesdays, and they were sending out the goals in that match to win that one 3-0. Looking at Group B, that next one, those ones consisting of Bosnia, Qatar, Switzerland, and Canada also in that group. This one, the expected outcome had that match between Bosnia and Qatar to be 2-2. They did get ahead. The expected outcome, they have the right amount of goals, but it was shared differently when it came to the actual result. That one ending 3-1 in favor of Bosnia, coming through in that one, picking up 3 crucial points for them. Also, this one we have to clap for the AI in this situation here, because the AI was spot on when it came to this fixture. That one between Switzerland and Canada, the expected outcome that we did have for this one is 2-1, and also the actual result was actually 2-1. We did see some of you guys praising some of the tips in the comment section in the last episode, so I hope some of these tips actually helps you guys with whatever you be it fantasy or whatever thing you want to use the data for to bring about success for you. But moving on to Group C, we're saying this one, that one that had Brazil versus Scotland. The expected outcome for that one was 2-1 in favor of the Brazilian side, but that one again, the simulation quite on track in terms of the expected outcome. Looking at this one, 3 goals were to be scored, but shared differently again, and that one ending just 3-0 to this Brazilian side. Too much to handle for that Scottish side as they were knocked out of the World Cup eventually. But this one quite interesting. The expected outcome for this Morocco-Haiti game was actually 1-1. Haiti did start this match properly in that one. They were leading Morocco in the actual fixture in the real life reality, but they ended up losing that one 4-2 to that Moroccan side. We'll be speaking about that group later on to bring you also what the group standings were in that one. But also moving to Group D, there was that match between Paraguay and Austria, where that one the expected outcome was meant to be 1-0 to the Austrian side, but eventually in the actual result it ended up 0-0 the scoreline in this one. Looking also another fixture in terms of mixed bags for this one. Turkey, after a poor World Cup so far, they had this fixture against the United States, one of the holders. The expected outcome for this one was for the United States to win this one by 3-2, but it was the other way around, with Turkey pulling off, you could say, their best performance at the World Cup so far to eventually even get this one in and pick up those 3 points against the United States in Group D. But another one that we're looking at is this Group E, that one between Ecuador, Curacao and Cote d'Ivoire. I want to, I've been praising the AI all throughout, but I want to actually take credit for this one, because I did tell you that Ecuador side had something for this German side, especially after they had picked up 3 points from the first 2 games. The expected outcome for that Ecuador-Germany match was supposed to be 1-1, but eventually it was that Ecuador side that came up on top in that one, 2-1. Pacho, Odones and Caicedo pulling off a defensive masterclass, you could say, after they went up 2-1 in that game. The other fixture, that one, it was between Curacao and Cote d'Ivoire, where the expected outcome was meant to be 3-1 to the Cote d'Ivoire side, but Cote d'Ivoire eventually ended up winning by 2-0. Moving forward, we have Group F, where the match between Japan and Sweden was actually supposed to be 1-1, with the expected outcome giving us that one, but the actual results also agree with the AI. That one, you can say. So right now we're seeing that the football the game can actually get an idea of what's going to happen in this one. And the expected outcome was 1-1 in that one. The Swedish side actually even winning, actually drawing that game again against that Japanese side 1-1. This one again, this group, you say it's all wins when it comes to the predictions for this one, because the expected outcome for this game was 3-1 for this Netherlands side against Tunisia, and that game did end 3-1 with the Dutch side proving too much for this Tunisia team. And also lastly, England against Panama, the expected outcome for that one was 2-1, and Croatia against Ghana, also the expected outcome was 2-0, but we did see that it was the England side that actually played the 2-0. So maybe the simulation will mix it up, will be giving him a little bit of edge for this one, to say, okay, maybe he got this one wrong, but that English team did win that one 2-0, with Croatia coming up 2-1 win against the Black Stars of Ghana in that one. And those are how those round three matches actually went against the actual results in real life. You can see that the simulation did get some right. Where next we'll be diving into comparing both the groups, the simulation groups, and the actual groups that happen in reality, to see how far off the simulation was in terms of who was going to qualify. But as usual, stay tuned, and remember, life is a game. Press play. Welcome back, guys. The World Cup is nothing short but exciting. This is what we football lovers use to quench our thirst while club football is on the hood. And with this one, I did tell you before that I'll be comparing what the simulation had to say in terms of the expected groups based on the results that we had simulated before. We're comparing that what in reality, to see where the simulation actually got it right. Kicking off with this one, you could see that the expected outcome had it at in Group A, with Mexico finishing first, Czechia second, and South Korea third, with South Africa fourth. You could say the mix-up here in this one, out of 4 positions, the simulation got too wrong. As we can see here, we can see that this South African side actually finished second the World Cup group stages this time, with that team Czechia actually quite disappointing from them, quite disappointing tournaments from them, finishing last in that one. But they did get it right with Mexico and South Korea on their final positions in that one. But looking at the next group, that's Group B, is that one between Switzerland, Canada, Bosnia, and Ecuador. And I can tell you that the expected outcome, if you can see this, as you can see, had this one with Switzerland finishing first, Canada second, Qatar third, and Bosnia fourth. But in the actual result, it was actually the same rewriting for that first 2, with Switzerland finishing first and Canada second. But there was also a mix-up there in the third and fourth position, as Bosnia actually finished third in this one, with Qatar finishing with just 1 point, and the last place. Group C is another one where you can also look at in terms of the expected outcome. He did say this one we've been saying the simulation got 2 out of it right, but I did say this one, it got everything right, with Brazil finishing on top, Morocco second, Scotland third, and Haiti in fourth place. Same thing will actually what actually happened, as you can see on your screens, with the game in at the actual World Cup, with Brazil topping that group, with Morocco second, finishing second based on goal difference, and that Scottish team finishing third, with Haiti last in this one. But moving on again, another group, Group D: Turkey, United States, Australia, and Paraguay. That was how the prediction had it predicted to how the group standings were supposed to end. But in the actual outcome, looking at this one, it was the United States who finished first in this one, with Australia second, Paraguay third, and Turkey actually finishing last position after even just picking up 3 points at the last game in that one. Group E had Germany, Cote d'Ivoire, Ecuador, and Curacao. The expected outcome had it with Ecuador finishing at the top of this group, with Germany second, Cote d'Ivoire third, and Curacao fourth. But if you look at the actual table, it was that German side that actually topped this one with 6 points. Cote d'Ivoire surprising everyone in this group. We do know that they have the talent. I did tell you, the Diomande, Ahmad, those are men who they can hurt you if you do not take care as defenders. And this one, that's how this one stated out in the actual group standings. But looking at another group F, that one, Netherlands, Sweden, Tunisia, and Japan. This one, I was really shocked that the expected outcome had Japanese team finishing last in this group, but the actual table shows us that Netherlands were first, with Japan finishing second, and that Swedish side fourth, and Tunisia finishing last in that one. Moving on to the next group. You see that one: Belgium, Egypt, New Zealand, and Iran. If you're also looking at the table, you see how things shaped up in this one. A expected outcome had Belgium topping this one with 9 points, Egypt second, New Zealand third, and Iran fourth. But in this one, it was Iran actually finished in the third position in this one with 3 points, while Egypt and Belgium finished on the same points, with Belgium finishing top of that one and Egypt finishing second. Another group we'll be looking at is this one: Spain, Cape Verde, Uruguay, and Saudi Arabia. As you can see, that Spanish team did finish top of that group, but as I did tell you before, that Uruguay side, they were disappointing at the World Cup this year. The expected outcome had them finishing second in this group, but the third position, in that one was actually stated for Saudi Arabia, with Cape Verde, or as people call it now, finishing fourth in that one. But looking at the actual table, it was that Uruguay team that was knocked out in this one. That Spanish side were top that one, but in the actual group, Cape Verde, without losing any game, got 3 points, are we able to qualify to the next round. We'll also be speaking about the round of 32 very, very soon. Moving on to the group I, where this one, the expected outcome had France finishing top of this group, Senegal finishing second, Norway third, and Iraq finishing that one fourth. But the actual group standings had something different to say for this one, because for that one, it was that French side that did finish first, but instead of Senegal, it was that Norwegian side that did finish second in this one. Erling Haaland and his boys doing the business on their first World Cup in over 20 years. Looking at it, Senegal did finish third in this one, the actual group standings. 5-0 win against that Iraq side to book 3 points and be able to qualify to the next round. Another one is Group G. You could say this group, you could give a round of applause for the simulation, because he did get this one right. As you can see, it was predicted for Argentina to top this one with Austria second, Algeria third, and Jordan fourth in this one, and the simulation got it right in terms of the standings and also the exact points that we're going to finish in this one. As you can see in the actual table, it's still also with Argentina finishing with 9 points, Austria with 4 points, and also Algeria on 4 points also in that one, just losing out on the third position, on the second position with goal difference. You can also see Jordan finishing that one with 0 points. Moving on to this one, where that man Cristiano Ronaldo's team is, it's Colombia and Portugal, who were predicted by the simulation. Portugal, sorry, who was predicted by the simulation to top this one with 9 points, with DR Congo second, Colombia third, and Uzbekistan finishing last in that one. But the actual table, it's that team, Colombia, with Luis Diaz and James Rodriguez still pushing up teams and bringing on magic to the flare pitch, as they were in that group, to take that one top of the group with 7 points, with Portugal 5, DR Congo on 4 points, and come back in that one, in that game, to get that one to eventually book a slot in the next round, and Uzbekistan rightly finishing with 0 points. The last group with England, Croatia, Ghana, Panama in that one. You can see, as you can see from what the simulation had to say about this one, as far as this expected table, it was England finishing this one top with 9 points, Croatia second, and Ghana third in that one. Same standings, but different point system from the actual table, as you can see here, with England finishing that one with 7 points, Croatia on 6, Ghana on 4, and also Panama on 0 points. That's what that's what the simulation had to say in terms of tables after we did do our own analysis based on here to give you this data. You see, I like the progression we've had from the first episode up till now. We've been seeing where we'll be able to criticize the simulation, and also where we give praise where praise is due, and also I also gave you some few tips about some matches, so I'll be taking some praises also. Right next, we'll be diving into the round of 32 fixtures. This is the knockout rounds. This is where no one wants to make any mistake. This is where it is win or go home, as it is right now. We'll be diving into all those ones next, as we give you what the simulation had to say, and there's what we expect from these games. I'll also give you my thoughts on some of those matches that I do agree on, and those I don't agree on. I'll be back soon, but as usual, life is a game. Press play. Welcome back, guys. It's the knockout round, and it's the round of 32. We started this World Cup with 48 teams, but 32 remain. And this is where we start to see those who are going to start their World Cup journey, and where some it will come to an end for others. But just as we've done for the group stage, how we simulated those matches, we'll be doing the same thing here for the round of 32. And as you can see, we did tell you that 32 teams, that means 16 games are going to be on show, but we'll be diving into some of those games. And he just looking at one of the first games is that one between South Africa and Canada. Bafana with the miraculous win on the last match of the group to qualify for this one. They'll be meeting that Canadian side, another host this year's World Cup. Looking at some of the simulations that we had in this one, you can see that the first simulation had that Canadian team winning it by 2 goals to 1. The second simulation had it at 1-0, and also the same thing with the last simulation, having a 1-0 win for that Canadian team also. The expected outcome for this one, looking at all 3 results, will be a 1-0 win for this Canadian side. But moving on to the next one is Brazil against Japan. I'm really very quite interested in this match, because I do think we'll see high flowing football, and that Brazilian side, they can be left in behind when it comes to those counter attacks when they are trying when it comes to a transition game. But this one, the simulation had the first one at 3-2, second one at 2-1, and also a 2-2 draw in the third simulation across 3 games. and the expected outcome for this one is supposed to be a 2-1 win for that Brazilian side. Will it still be Vinicius Junior leading this team forward, and also with the return of Neymar to the team, we'll be seeing what he can add to that one. This third game we'll be looking at is that one between Germany and Paraguay. After topping their group, the first simulation had this one at 3-0, 2-0, and also 1-1, with the expected outcome that we do expect from this game to be a 2-0 win for this German side. Looking forward to Netherlands Morocco. Is the Dutch side against the Moroccan African team. Looking at this one, the first simulation had it at a 3-3 draw, 2-2 draw, and also a 1-1 draw, and the expected outcome for this one will be a 2-2 scoreline. So we do expect this game to go into extra time and maybe possibly even penalties. We'll be seeing how that one does, as the simulation was covered for 90 minutes. Looking at the next game in that one is Cote d'Ivoire against Norway. The first simulation had it at 2-1 for that Norwegian team, a 2-2 draw in the second simulation, and also a 1-1 draw in the third simulation. The expected outcome for that one is also a draw. Okay, so this one we'll be looking to see if the stars on show that we're speaking about later on when it comes to this game will be able to pull it off. As we know, there are a lot of talent in both teams, coming from Diomande, Ahmad, and the other team with Alejandro and Odegaard pushing things forward for that Norwegian team. Looking to another fixture between the clear favorites at this World Cup, I could say France against Sweden. The first simulation had a 5-0 win for this French team. Second one 3-2, and also a 2-1 win for that French team. So the expected outcome for this one, I'll be looking at the 3-1 win for this French team. Will it still be the Mbappe show? Last time against Norway, it was Ousmane Dembele, Ousmane Ballon d'Or, as fans don't even call him. He was on show in that one. We're looking to see if they can carry the Heroics going into this round, or if Graham Potter will have something for this French team. But looking at the next one, it's Mexico against Ecuador. Ecuador winning their final game against Germany to qualify for this one, while that Mexican side did get all 3 points when it came to the World Cup group stages. But in this one, the first simulation had it at 1-1, the second one a 1-0 win for this Ecuadorian side, and a 3-1, and the last simulation had a 3-1 win. Sorry, a 1-0 win for that Mexican side, and a 3-1 win for the Ecuadorian side. So looking at the expected outcome, we're expecting a 1-1 draw. So another game that we might see that go into extra time if possible in that one. Looking next to the next fixture, and that one is between England and DR Congo. The first simulation had a 3-0, 4-1, and also 2-0. The expected outcome for that one will be a 3-0 win. England, I do feel they will grow into the tournament. They've had good games, they've won games, but I think they will eventually, depend as the opponents become tougher, I do feel that they will be able to combat what anybody has to throw at them at this World Cup. I might be wrong about that one, but we did be seeing if that one does actually come true. Looking at the next game is Belgium against Senegal. That one, the simulation had a 3-2 win for that Belgian side, a 3-1 win for the Senegalese side, and that 2-1 win for them. The expected outcome for this one will be a 2-1 win against this Belgian side. I'm backing the African brothers in this one to see if they can go further again, to still keep the amount of African teams that stay at the World Cup going alive also. But that's what the simulation had to say for that one. Spain against Austria. I did say this one is quite interesting. Looking at what's on show, yeah, we can see the first simulation had it at 2-1 win for Spain, a 2-2 draw, and a 1-0 win for Spain. But the expected outcome based on these 3 simulations is supposed to be a 1-1 draw, so we might see extra time in this one. I do know that injuries is also another thing that Spanish team also have to combat with at this World Cup. But The next one is a heavyweight between Portugal and Croatia. You could say it's the battle of the granddaddies in Ronaldo and that man Luka Modric, the men at the old age, still aging like fine wine. But the simulation had like 2-1 win for that Portuguese side, another 3-1 win and a 2-0 win for this one. So looking at the simulation, is having it the GOAT for some. It will be one coming out on top in this fixture against Luka Modric. And another one. I did say Ronaldo is the good for some. So is the same case for this man Messi, looking to do back-to-back World Cups. But this one, the simulation had it at 2-0, 2-1, and a 1-0 win again for the Argentine side. The expected outcome for this one is a 1-0 win for this Argentina side, because I can tell you one thing for sure. This Argentina team, they don't know how to grind out games, but I can tell you that Cape Verde also at the World Cup so far, especially, they've been very, very resilient. They haven't lost a game so far during their 3 games to eventually even qualify. But lastly is that one between Colombia and Ghana. That one, the simulation had it at 3-1 for the first simulation, 2-0 win again for that Colombian side, and a 4-2 win for that Colombian side again. The expected outcome for this one that we're looking at is 3-1. That's the scoreline we'll be looking at based on the expected outcome, based on the simulation, as we are seeing there. But I don't want to speak on some games. Some I would say maybe I do not generally agree with based on the simulation. Yeah, looking at some of these games from the round of 32, there's quite some very, very interesting games. I did tell you that looking at this France versus Sweden, I think this game is attackers will be on show. But one thing, if you look at this Swedish team, they were bad defensively when qualifying, and it hasn't really looked much better for them even at the World Cup. They are still very, very vulnerable, and this French team, they can easily hurt you. So are you be saying that the simulation actually even got it properly right on that one? I do expect them to score because I don't expect the French team to keep a clean sheet in this one. But looking at the other fixtures also, another heavyweight match is that one between Spain and Austria. Ragnick has been someone that I did say is a quite interesting figure for that Austrian team, and I do think that they can hurt anyone if they do grind the game out. Against Argentina, they had some calls that did go against them, unlucky ones. There are some goals could have been chalked off, but I did be saying that against the Spanish, I don't think they've fully shown their strength so far. The knockout rounds are a different ball game, so they might be on show, but the injuries will also be something that you have to put into account, as Nico Williams is currently sidelined also, as long as that man Alex Abena for that Spanish team. But moving to another fixture, and so just even before I move to the next one, solely based on that, I would say I'll throw all my chips in the box. I do expect Austria to try at least maybe on penalties to knock out this Spanish team, and that might be one of the shocks of the knockout round of the round of 32. But another match I really want to speak about. Last time I did tell you something when it was round 2. When we're speaking about the round 2 fixtures, we're speaking about Norway and Senegal. I did say something that whoever is more clinical against Norway is the team that is going to win. And that one, I can tell you the same thing when it comes to this Norway-Cote d'Ivoire game. This one, the simulation, they had the expected outcome at 1-1, but I do expect this Norwegian team to come out on top in this one with Erling Haaland. He was rested for that game against France, and I think he and Odegaard also, but I do think that he is someone who will be very, very lethal. We did see how this Cote d'Ivoire team were quite wasteful when they played that German side. They could have beaten them in that game, but they could not take their chances properly. So that will be something that they will look to improve on when it comes to this knockout round. Another match I would like to speak on lastly is this one between Portugal and Croatia. It's a big game, I can tell you that. And this match, and and this game will be want to say, okay, is Modric's World Cup going to be over? Will this be the end of his last World Cup? Will he end in the round of 32? Or that case can also be said for that Portuguese team with Cristiano Ronaldo on the other end, looking to move into the next round and possibly maybe add some goals into to his tally. Currently on 10 goals, the top goal scorer for the Portuguese team when it comes to World Cup, just surpassing Eusebio after those 2 goals against Uzbekistan. But do you guys really agree with all this? We did see some of your comments the last episode. We're looking to hear more from what you guys have to say about this week's simulation. But as we always say, remember, it's more content, it's more simulation, it's before the whistle. I remember, life is a game. Press play.